Um, we had heard the story about Mob James and Big Rock having a fight at a park where it was going to be potentially worse, but you actually stepped in and said, if you guys, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but the gist of it was you had them fight so that it wouldn't escalate into something worse. Is that accurate? And can you tell your side of that
Oh,
story?
that was one of the hallmarks in my career of gang activity, dealing with gang activity that didn't come out so well for me from my supervisor standpoint. As a matter of fact, it got me challenged. And as I look back on it, rightfully so, from an administrative standpoint. But me being unorthodox and able to do certain things that the average police couldn't have gotten away with, uh, that particular day, I think I had a rookie with me at the time, a trainee. I shouldn't say, well, he's a rookie, but he was a trainee, Henry Robinson. Henry Robinson and I were riding together, and a call came out of possible gang fight at Ludus Park. And actually, they weren't fighting, but when we arrived, myself and Henry arrived there, they were going at each other, just talking. We used to call it woofing and going back like they want to fight right in the middle of the gym field. And I found out that the rivalry was between the Mob Piru guys and the Elm Lane Pirus, who really associated more with Ludus Park. And the Ludus Park guys and the Elm Lane guys were kind of beefing it with the Mob guys. And the main guy from Mob that was over there, kind of, he was Mob James. And from Elms Lane was Rock Chisholm. And they were about to, just all out FIFA. I mean, some of them had sticks in their hands and no doubt weapons in their possession, I'm sure. Henry and I getting out, and I think it was like at least 35 or 40 on each side, a big crowd of nothing but gangbangers. And I go, oh my God, I'm about to have one of them old-fashioned rock. So I got out, and I had to demand some attention and show some presence, so I start talking here, approaching the group. Hey, get back, what's all this and all this? So naturally the cat, Reg, just between us and this and that, and Rock, hey man, you ain't gonna stop nothing. We gonna get this on. We're tired. And wait a minute, we ain't gonna have none of this. At that time, I didn't call for any backup or anything. I didn't feel uncomfortable. I felt that I can control the situation, and I was. Calm them down. They weren't like going right at each other, but Mob and Rock were. And so I remember the first day, Rock Chisholm looked at me and said, hey, we ain't gonna just end like this. Rock got to get his rocks off. Rock's got to get his rocks off. I looked at him and I wanted to laugh, but then I looked at James, and James was just as pissed. I mean, hey, let's get it on. So the crazy thing came in Reggie Wright Sr.'s head was, shit, let them fight. If I can control this and them two, as Rock said, get his rocks off, I can de-escalate this whole situation where it don't turn into a full-scale riot and I have to draw every police in Compton and probably the sheriff here. That was going through me. So I said, okay, if I let y'all get it off, then I want y'all to split up and go away. And nobody's getting involved but just you two. And they agreed. And I said, okay. Henry kind of pushed the Pirus back a little bit. I know he did the Elm Lane, and I did the Mob guys and backed them up. And they started fighting. And I mean, nobody was trying to jump in or anything, but one of my co-workers, police officers, was standing over by the gym entrance with the gymnasium, because we were on the street side, the Rosecrans side, but you could see everything. And one of the little directors, and I understand his concern, he was a little young guy, Tony, he was concerned about him fighting, when he saw him fighting. And I think he convinced officer that was there, I'm not going to say his name, but who was kind of scared any darn way, because instead of being over there with us, he was standing over there by the office, convinced him to put out a code 9, also need help. And before you know it, as they were fighting, you can hear police cars coming from everywhere, over there. But they had got enough off of their chest that they heard the police cars as well, and they split up. Elm went their way, backed into the park. Miles went across the street, and they went their way. That evening, and this was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 4 or 5 o'clock, I had no problems whatsoever between the two groups. No incidents, no retaliation, no shooting or anything. So I felt good about that. But boy, my supervisor who rolled on that found out that I more or less was refereeing the fight and stuff. Man, they tore up me and down me. I'm surprised I didn't get suspended, but they respected me. Sergeant Malachi was a female sergeant. And the chief, my buddy, Yuri Taylor, was my lieutenant. But I mean, if I had to do that again, I don't know if I would have let it go that way. But I probably would, knowing me, I probably would. But anyhow, that wasn't the best thing to do. I put the city at liability and them. But it resolved the issue without a big mob, no pun intended, just fighting right there in the park. And that would have involved police officers and everybody. So that was my big recollection of that incident. I think about that frequently, that situation.